We have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Baltimore. This is your Week 10 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. This is the second and final matchup between both of these teams during the regular season. The last time these two teams faced each other, the Ravens came out on top in overtime, and it was an electric game. Both quarterbacks played very well. Joe Burrow did throw an interception, but in overtime, they went out there, they ran the football 3 times. The Ravens came back, kicked the field goal for the win. I want to start off with the home team, the Baltimore Ravens. They had a tough week a couple weeks ago against the Cleveland Browns. So how did they answer against the Denver Broncos? By beating the hell out the Denver Broncos from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Lamar Jackson went out there 16-19, 280 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. No, there's more. Derrick Henry, 23 carries, 106 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and he had a rush that went for 20 yards as well. The Cincinnati Bengals did a solid job of containing Derrick Henry in the first encounter and to the very last minutes of the game. Derrick Henry went out there, had a big run, and started to run all over the team. In this game for the Baltimore Ravens, you have to start off with the run game against the Bengals. But at the same time, you have Lamar Jackson. Let Lamar Jackson cook with Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Rashard Bateman. And the biggest thing here for the Baltimore Ravens in this matchup, because the Bengals have been struggling on the defensive side of things, their rushing defense has been solid here and there. Their pass defense, on the other hand, is a different story. Now, last week they went against the Las Vegas Raiders, one of the worst teams in the NFL. They had a great day. Get Rashard Bateman involved, and he has to be able to catch the football in this game. He had a major drop against the Cleveland Browns a couple of weeks ago. He had the sun in his eyes. This is going to be a Thursday night football game. There should be no sun involved. Rashard Bateman, catch the football. Zay Flowers last week was electric. Zay Flowers went out there, 5 catches, 127 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Justice Hill, 43 receiving yards. Nelson Aguilar, 29 receiving yards as well. Get the receivers involved, because this may be a situation to where he may be in another shootout. Get Lamar Jackson going early. Use his legs with Derrick Henry as well, and you should be in a very good situation. The offense right now is a strong suit with the Baltimore Ravens, just like how it was in the first encounter with both of these teams. This is going to be a high-scoring affair, because I can see Lamar Jackson going out there and having 3 to 4 total touchdowns on the day. And the same with big Derrick Henry as well. Feed Derrick Henry early on. Be patient with the run game, like how you were in the first game. I'm talking about Todd Monken here, the offensive coordinator. He's very patient with the run game early on in the first encounter. But when things weren't working out, they let Lamar Jackson go out there and use his legs and use his arm. Not only did Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry have a day last week, the defense finally stepped up. They held the Denver Broncos to only 10 points. I understand it's the Denver Broncos. They don't have one of the best offenses in the NFL. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens this season, been very good against the run. And that's been the tale over the last few years. Zachary Orr is a brand new defensive coordinator. Mike McDonald is right now with the Seattle Seahawks as a head coach. Their passing defense has not been good this season. And you have key pieces on the back end. Guys like Kyle Hamilton, who is one of the best versatile chess pieces in the NFL. Move him around in this matchup and get after Joe Burrow in this game. I'm looking at a guy like Kyle Van Noy, who's been phenomenal all season long. 7 sacks on the season, 1 forced fumble. Go back there and put that pressure on Joe Burrow. And I'm not saying go out there and zero blitz either. That is one thing the Baltimore Ravens were trying to do against Jameis Winston and the Browns, and beat him over the top. You don't want to do that against Joe Burrow. He's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. Instead, you want to go out there and put a lot of pressure through the middle of this offensive line so he cannot step up. And then a guy like Kyle Van Noy can come around and he can sack him as well. You can blitz Kyle Hamilton here and there, but I believe he's more so suited for coverage in this game. Use him as that chess piece. Put him inside the slot at times. Move him over top as a cover high safety as well. And they've done a very good job moving him around this season. He was in prime position to make a couple of plays last week and the week before against the Cleveland Browns as well. He just has to come down with the plays. He's one of the best players in the NFL, regardless of position. When I look at the rest of the secondary, these guys have to step up, because the Cincinnati Bengals, they have a guy by the name of Jamar Chase that can give you a lot of problems. And that's what happened in the first matchup as well. I'm looking at Brandon Go out there, match him up in one-on-one situations, and the same with Nate Wiggins as well. I know that Roquan Smith and Broderick Washington, they're going to go out there. They're going to bring their best. Roquan Smith is one of the best interior linebackers in the NFL. And look at a guy like Broderick Washington, a very good run stopper as well. Be very careful with how you play the run game in this matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals, because they've been hot and cold with using that run. And right now I can see the Bengals trying to revert back to that run game and working off of play action. And they did that last week against the Las Vegas Raiders. But I like the Ravens in this matchup, especially with the personnel that they have. And also, don't forget about Deontay Johnson. They made the trade to bring him in as well. So if Rashard Bateman or Nelson Aguilar, they're not in their A game, they may slide him in. But they see Rashard Bateman and Zay Flowers as number 1 and number 2 with this team. Now let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a must win for the Cincinnati Bengals. In order for them to try to go out there and make a true playoff run, you have to at least split with the Baltimore Ravens in this situation. And like I mentioned before, last week was a great week for the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow went out there and had a career day against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I understand this against the Las Vegas Raiders, but at the same time, the Cincinnati Bengals have been very hot and cold this season. Joe Burrow had 5 passing touchdowns to 1 interception that went for a pick 6, 27-39, 251 passing yards. Chase Brown had 27 carries for 120 rushing yards. In this game, do not abandon the run game, but it's going to be tough to run the football against the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Let him test out the secondary of the Baltimore Ravens. Be careful and take care of the football, yes, but you have Jamar Chase, who has easily been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He only had 7 catches for 43 yards last week. Mike Gesicki, 5 catches, 100 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Unfortunately for the Cincinnati Bengals, their number 2 guy is out. T. Higgins, he's listed as out for this game. Now, a lot of things can change as I record this video, but right now he's listed as out, and he was out against the Las Vegas Raiders as well. But you have Yoshi Vash, who's been a very good wide receiver in his own right. Use him a lot as well. But in order for the Bengals to go out there and win this game against the Ravens, you have to play complementary football. You have to run the football a lot with Chase Brown, and you have to go out there and let Joe Burrow fill out the process as well and test out that secondary with the Baltimore Ravens. You don't have Zach Moss. He's going to be out for the next couple of weeks as he's dealing with a neck injury, and I hope that he will be okay long term. The key to victory offensively, 50-50. Early on. If the run game's not going, you can abandon the run game and go straight to Joe Burrow. And that's something that Zach Taylor did in overtime when these two teams last faced each other. He took the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands after he threw an interception and ran the football 3 straight times in overtime. Don't do that in this game. If Joe Burrow is red hot, let Joe Burrow get you to the promised land. And if he doesn't, you can live with that. But if Joe Burrow gets off to a hot start like how he did last week, let him go through this progression, let him go through the game, and you can be in a very good situation. As far as the defense for the Bengals, this will be the tail of the tape right here. If the Bengals defense can step up, they have a great shot at winning this game. You have to slow down Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And this is one of the hardest offenses to guard in the NFL. But you have Trey Hendrickson, who has been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL this season, by far. He has to get to Lamar Jackson, and you have to play that contained coverage as well. Trey Hendrickson, 11 sacks on the season, 1 forced fumble. That's number 1 in the NFL for all pass rushers. He's having a Defensive Player of the Year type of season. And we saw what happened in the first matchup. They were getting to Lamar Jackson. They couldn't bring him down. You have to bring Lamar Jackson down in this matchup. Sam Hubbard has been an excellent run stopper this season. Can you go back there? Can you help out Trey Hendrickson? And can the guys on the back end, can you cover Zay Flowers? Can you cover Rashard Bateman and Mark Andrews? Like I mentioned before, they have weapons everywhere on this offensive line, in the backfield, at the perimeter. But if it's going to be a team that can do it and that can match that production, it will be the Cincinnati Bengals. Coach Lou has to step up in this game. And they were right there with the Baltimore Ravens in the first matchup. But you have to start off by stopping the run game, contain the run, and then make Lamar Jackson's life hell behind the pocket. Make him have to scramble around and move around. Put the pressure on him as much as possible. And Coach Lou has ran some zero blitzes in the past. If you're going to do that, back your corners up at least by 5 yards. Don't put the guys in one-on-one situations. And I'm talking about a guy like Cam Taylor-Britt in this situation. He has given up a lot of big plays this season to Terry McLaurin. He had a crazy interception against the Kansas City Chiefs. Not a terrible corner, but he hasn't been that true number one. Now, DJ Turner, on the other hand, he's been more so suited to be the number one cornerback in my opinion. And you also have Geno Stone as well. He's a former player with the Baltimore Ravens. Only has one interception on the season. You need him to step up in this matchup as well. They also have Mike Hilton as well, who they like to blitz a lot at the slot and has been a solid slot corner this season in my opinion. With that being said, this is going to be a classic shootout. I think the Baltimore Ravens walk away with one more win. The Bengals can win this game, but I think the Baltimore Ravens, they have too much firepower. And right now they're red hot with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and that entire crew. I could be wrong, but I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens to win this game 34-31. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game, the Baltimore Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.